Okay, since there weren't very many good references on YouTube, I decided to document this replacement of the Pentair Glo-Brite color changing pool lights, which tend to go out, and it's not because they burn out, it's because they get water inside of them. And so I'm going to switch to the box of the new light here, which comes with, this happens to be the old one, but it looks just like the new one. And you can see in here what's happened. And I'll slosh this around a little bit. There's water inside the light. That's not a good thing. You don't want to see that. And the discussions online have suggested that perhaps it's this seal around the plastic, between the housing and the plastic, that might be leaking. And so some have suggested sealing that with some additional material before it's installed. I also looked at the bottom. There's this O-ring down here where it goes into the sleeve that's in your pool. And then there's this plastic nut which can be loosened by hand. And the wire goes into the body there. So perhaps around here we're getting some water intrusion. I don't know how the water gets in there, but as soon as that happens, you're buying another light. This one happened to be over $300, which is not fun when it only lasted a couple of years. So inside the box, you're going to have the tool that will loosen the light to take it out. I'll show that when I put the new one back in, and be limited. I'll be at extremely limited warranty, which I think gives you 60 days, and that's only if you have it professionally installed, which who knows how much additional money that would add. I'm going to assume it's double, so if this one lasts more than 3 years, I'll be game ahead. And then you have this lubricant sealer, which the instructions don't tell you what to do with. Presumably you can spread it all over this thing and maybe it'll seal, but I've taken a different approach with the new light, which I'll show you over here. So here sits the new light. It's been sealed with this silicone purchased at the hardware store. Just a small tube is more than enough to do. I've got 3 lights in the pool. It would do all 3 if I needed. I've only got 2 dead at the moment, and make sure this one works before I order the next one. But what I've done is I've taken and spread the sealer around this place where the housing and the plastic lens meet. There's the new light with no water in it, and we hope to keep it that way. And I've also spread with the silicone around all of these joints. So starting with the wire where it comes into the nut, filling that space there, seal that up, seal the nut around here, because this is, even says on the label here that you can't replace any part of it. If anything goes bad, you gotta replace the whole thing. So not sure why they don't just seal this all up in the manufacturer anyway, but so I basically gooped it all on here and then wiped it off in order to free up these different pieces that lock the unit into place when you insert it into the sleeve that's in your pool. So I'm hopeful that all of this silicone, which we spent $4 on, will save the purchase of a future light to the tune of, by that time, say $350 or so. For this little booger, that's probably 1,000% markup, but there's no generic. You got to buy the Pentair light, and here I'll show you how to hook it up. But I've basically fished the wire through. You just take the old light out, tie a string on it if you want, and you might get lucky and be able to pull it through. I almost made it with mine, but ended up having to use a fish tape to pull the wire, the new wire through. Your pool won't lose all its water when you do this. I'll show you the hookup over on the other side. Now I'm on the side with the pool equipment, and I'm going to take the housing off of here, which there's 2 screws I've loosened to get into the wiring. That light happens to be this one here in the middle. You take the 2 screws out of this little clamp that holds it in place, and then there's plumber's putty in the tubes, and these tubes are deliberately up high above your pool water line so that the water doesn't leak out. And actually what I did was, when I fished this through, I actually ran water with a water hose down through here to flush out the water that had been in there since the last time this was done, or perhaps since the pool was built, and that was a pleasant sight to see that old water come out of there. Not necessary, but feels good to know that it's been flushed out. So we'll go ahead and pull the slack out, get the unit inserted into the sheath inside the pool. There's a name for that thing. I'll think of it here in a minute. And that's going to be a process. I'm probably going to ask a helper to come out and pull this through as I insert that into the what is that thing called? Anyway, you're going to leave a little slack over there so that you can pull the light out if you ever need to replace it. So don't pull it totally tight. But now it's time to go ahead and insert that into there, and then we'll come back over here. We'll cut some slack off of this. And by the way, electrician friend of mine said that what's left of these cords make really good extension cords if you need to use them for any reason. In my case, I've got about 25 feet left over. So anyway, back over to the pool side. Niche, that's the name of that thing. It's the sleeve that's inside your pool that the light inserts into, and that's what's gonna click when we put it into place. And here's how it looks when it's done. Even though this says white, it's actually color. So the unit will slide into the niche, and then 1/8 of a turn with the tool to lock it in place, and that's it. Okay, my helper is pulling slack through as I insert this in, and we're gonna leave just a little bit so we can grab onto it if it ever needs to be replaced again. That's perfect, thank you. Let me get the tool that we need to tighten it down, and then we're done on this side. Okay, so the instructions say that you will make 1/8 of a turn. So I'm gonna just get that. I'm gonna stick it in here. There, it just went in. Okay, so we're gonna. There it is. You feel it lock in place. It feels a lot like a refrigerator water filter, I guess is what I would describe. I don't think it matters which way it's oriented. Okay, so we're gonna go the other side and wire it up, and we're done. And back outside, I'm gonna trim this wire here. Leave a little bit so we can always go shorter. We can't go longer, so that's critical. So anyway, so we're gonna strip that in, wire these up here, and you can see all 3 of the lights in this pool are wired to the same. There's one lead coming in from the control box over here. Whichever one you're replacing, you just match colors. So I will prepare that and then come back and show you. Yeah, I've stripped that end, and I kind of like to get those all separate again and then twist them together with a pair of needle nose pliers. Kind of like so, and then twist the wire. Now I'm gonna do a better job, put the camera down, finish that up. All right, so that's all made up now. And what we're gonna do is stuff this back in here again. Looks like the cord kind of goes to the back. And we'll stuff that back in there again. Make a good seal around the new cable. And I think this just keeps critters out. I guess it would keep some water out too. Not that that would matter too much, because just down below the ground level there's water in there all the time. So we'll get this put back on. hold that in place. These screws go back into here. Back in. Yeah, fishing this through. This is the longest one naturally, and it was the most work to get it swapped out. Ended up buying a fish tape that I didn't have before, but it'll be good for other stuff. And like I said, I've got one more light to do. And then while I'm at it, this is just a recommendation, but if you've got more than one light and you want to remember which one's which, like this middle one happens to be the furthest one away. There's no logic to the way they did these. And then this one on the end over here is the closest one. I'm going to write those on the lead pipes coming up. So I'm going to do that with a Sharpie and label those. So the next time they go out, I'll be ready. I'll know which one to work with. Get those labeled so I can understand which ones they are. And we'll put the top back on. This is all fixed up here. Put the top back on. And that keeps water out. And then we'll flip them on. Flip them on and hope for the best. Now the manual says for these lights, you know, if you wanted to hook it up, make sure it works before you install it, which I did not do. It took like 3 months to get these lights because they were back ordered. So hopeful that they work. Pretty sure they're going to work. At 1000% markup, you got to assume they have some kind of quality control before they let them go out of the factory. Okay, so the lights are turned on. We're going to flip the switch. Voila. And there it is there at the far end. Victory. And it just happens to come on with my favorite color. So we'll cycle that and make sure that they're working. But that's it. That light's been out for, hell, a year or two probably. The pool was actually under warranty. These lights were covered for the first 3 years. And in that first 3 years, all but this one on the, actually I think they did replace this one. So they've all been replaced now. The one I just did was the second time. So that's the third light that's been in there. Hopefully this new sealing technique will work. There is another light in the middle there under that hose. And it comes on just enough for the water to short it out, and then it goes out. So it actually works even though it's got water in it. The other one down there didn't work at all. But anyway, we got it done. And I think that's it. So what I neglected to say in that last piece was that if you decide to test the lights before installing them, in the manual it says don't have them on for more than a few seconds because they will heat up if they're not underwater. So again, I didn't test mine. It looks like I got lucky, it's working. But if you decide to test it out of the water, suggest that you just see it come on and then unplug it. Okay, thanks for watching.